Hey everybody, Spud here, Spud's Outdoors. Tonight we're talking about a light bar option for the Polaris Ranger 1500 XD. This was a tough one for us to find. What I wanted was something that didn't sit on the very top of the roof. And they do make some new drill-in brackets that you can put in, and they have different widths, and there's actually some dimples on the roof to put them in from Polaris. But it's either buy the light bar from Polaris or find the rigid light that fits. And if you know the brand name Rigid, they're very expensive. Good lights, but top end of the budget as far as that goes. So I wanted to find a different option that would work just as good, but that I could also remove from the top of the roof in case we had height restrictions getting into a trailer or into a garage or something like that. So I wanted something that would sit a little bit lower in the front, less chance of a branch taking it off, and then that we could, like I said, remove. So I'll show you that. We'll get a little bit closer here. But what we came up with was to mount the light bar on the brackets for the tip-out windshield. Okay, so I can feel you. I can feel you asking. Now, how do you run the light bar with the windshield tipped up? Isn't the light bar just going to shine up in the trees? It would, yeah. If it's dark enough that you need a light bar, and it's warm enough that you can run with the windshield open. In Minnesota, you got about 2, maybe 3 days before the bugs show up. So if it's warm enough to keep the windshield open and dark enough to run the light bar at the same time, you're going to have bugs coming at that light bar no matter what. So those two things aren't going to happen at the same time very often at all. It's going to be windshield closed when the light bar is on, because those bugs are going to be coming at that thing because it is bright. So hopefully that answers your question. So this light is going to pivot once we lift the windshield up. But that way we can get underneath, take the nuts out of there, disconnect the wire harness, and we can raise, take the light bar off. But it just gives you an idea what it looks like. Actually, you can't see it. So evidently we got some height restrictions with our tripod. But that's what it looks like when the windshield is up. So if you're looking for raccoons in the trees, maybe that would help. Oops. So getting back to the criteria that we had to have to mount a light bar in the brackets of the tip-out windshield. There's plenty of steel up there, and we just wanted something slim, small enough to, fit and work up there. And it was 35 and some change for the room that we had, for the distance we needed to mount. And without actually having a light on hand that I could actually physically measure, went through Rigid's different lights, for the different dimensions that they would show. Some places were better than others, listing what the actual dimensions of the mounting holes were. And I think it was Open Trail through Western Power Sports. They've got a lot of good lights too, but I didn't find one that was going to fit and mount on the tip-out windshield brackets like I wanted. So the Firehawk is designed in Japan, assembled in China. Now, I'll put the specifications of that down in the description below, and there'll also be a link to Amazon where you can pick one of these up as well. Pretty reasonably priced compared to some of the Rigid lights, but going back to the reason that we picked this one is that it fits where we want it. It doesn't sit higher than the back end of the roof. I'll have to lift you up to show you that. So you can see it's pretty flush with the top of the roof, which is great for height clearance. And I can remove it, and it's plenty of light, and you'll see that in the night driving here that we'll add in. But let's go ahead and take a look at the mounts, and then you can kind of see where the bolt comes through, where we drilled the holes. You can see there's some bracing in those brackets. It should be plenty strong to hold that. But there's lock nuts in there. Here's a little closer look at how we got it mounted in there. Now there's spot and flood beam, in the middle of the light itself, which is nice to disperse the light. So here's a little closer look at what we did. And so this is silicone into place, and we can disconnect this line if we need to, pop these two bolts out and take the light bar off. But as you can see, it doesn't really sit above the back of the roof. So that was a big plus with this one. Now if you go to Polaris and you go, hey, I want to buy their light, and there's actually spots here where you drill holes and you put their brackets for the different width of light bars. But with their light bar, it's going to be mounted on the very top of the roof. And I wanted to have it low and out of the way. Please take a look in the description, and that'll bring you right there to all the specs. I mean, they claim 80,000 lumens. That's a lot. I don't know if they use a different classification or not, but it's pretty bright. So hopefully you can see a good example of that out there in the fog. It's February, the middle of February in Minnesota. It shouldn't look that, we shouldn't have that much dirt exposed. It shouldn't be that warm, but here we are. So here's everything. Our side lights, our factory bumper lights, stock headlights on at high beam, and obviously our light bar. You can also see our XTC running lights on. You can see the different lenses on the light bar. You can tell that you've got some floodlights in there, and also the spot beam. Kind of see the differences there through all the glares. It's really bright. Now we just have our low beam headlights on. Now we'll add the light bar. Off. Back on. Off. On. As you can see, it adds quite a bit of light. I'll turn the high beams on. There we go. We'll add our light bar once again. Off. Back on. Okay, so one more time here. I've gotten past the tree line on my driveway. So right now the only lights that are on are from our XTC turn signals. And I'll add our running lights, and then we have low beams, which are very nice, pretty bright. They don't go terribly far out. That's where I really like the bumper lights, and here those are. They add that more of a, what do you call it, 180 view that you can really see on the outsides of you. I really like that. And then what we're going to do is add the light bar, which we've got up here. There we go. So you really get that extended range with that light bar up top. Kind of foggy out, but that's really, really nice. It brightens things up. It's hard to tell on the camera, but I'm happy with it. Okay, so here's one more visual. The ground ahead of us is going uphill. So what I'm going to do is add the high beams. There they are. You can kind of get the gist of how the hill goes up. You can see the field in front of us. And then I'm going to add the light bar. You can see how much more you can see. It's a little foggy out with the temperature inversion we've got going on right now. But it's a big difference with that light bar. You can definitely see more. Like I said, this is with the stock headlights on high beam right now. a really nice combo with that spot flood beam pattern. Gives you a lot of light. When I was plowing snow, the bumper lights are great when the plow's down, but when you raise the plow up, you know, that and your headlights get kind of covered up by the wings of the plow. So having the light bar on top where I can shine it, it works much better. That was the whole goal with this, and to reduce the amount of height restrictions that you can get with the other light bar options that they have. So I like it. I hope you do too. Hopefully this helps you narrow down your options looking for your light bar for your machine. There'll be a link in the description for the Firehawk light bar and the wire harness that we used. It was another one that they had. It was pre-done, came with that switch, and it also had the bus bar connector wired right into the light bar, so we didn't have to modify that together. It was kind of handy. Polaris sells a light bar harness, but I think they're about 120 bucks. This was by far a lot cheaper, so I'll put that in the description too. If you're doing any other kind of lights, that might be something you want to do. We'll go over the side lights on this one next, and we use the same light bar harness for that too, and pretty handy, so check them out. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.